Hey class, so I want to show you a new Commonplace book that I'm setting up. And again, there are a lot of people talking about this on the internet and showing you their versions. But anyway, here's some things that I learned that I think work well. There's my little book sticker and my ohia. This, as you can see, is just a recycled notebook. My kids always bought a million of these at the beginning of their school years, and then teachers had them use like the first 5 pages, and they brought them home in May empty. Love that. Total wasteful. So I kept them all around and I use them for various things. Anyway, so let me show you. Let me just turn to, okay, this is my most recent quote. I'll talk to you about it in a minute, but you can see there's a page number there. Okay, so page numbers are important. The indexing. All right, so if you were to set up like an A, B, C, D index in the back, the question becomes, well, like, how many pages do you leave for it? Because if you, let's say you made this your A, B, C, and you're heading toward the back cover, right? You might end up running out of room if you wanted to expand later. So, you realize that you need more pages. You're up against the back cover then. What do you do? Okay, so one of the things that I liked was a recommendation to flip the book. So did you guys ever have a children's book where there was like a story in the beginning and then you flip the book over and there was another story in the back and the two stories met in the middle? I had a book like that. I loved it. So here, what we're talking about is to do your index, just flip the book over, okay? Open the book up like you would normally, yeah? And start from the back cover going in toward, upside down, toward the middle. So what I decided to do was my first pages against the back cover, yeah? I decided, and I want to collect some vocab because I feel like my vocab development's gotten kind of sleepy. So I did leave a few pages for vocab development, okay? There's an interesting word. A lecking, a gathering of males in mating ritual on display for women, for the females. Got the word from reading up on manta rays. Okay, but this is the index. This is the index. So you can organize this really any way you want, but I saw this and I thought it might work for me. So A, B, C, D. So I put 2 columns. Now, of course, I could have done like A, B, C, D. It doesn't matter. That's totally your choice how your brain likes to look at things. All right. And then what I did was, I just put you can see what I did, all right? And I did not fill in these categories until I had collected some quotes, because I just like to collect the quotes and then go back and look through them and see what's emerging. So I let myself collect a few, and then I go ahead and I look at them and I go, well, I have one on art, I have one on anxiety, I have one on creativity, change. Okay, brain on reading. So your titles can be phrases. Yeah, they can be anything you need them to be. They can be one-liner quotes so that they make sense to you. Now, what are these numbers? These numbers are the page on which I'll find a quote about art. Yeah. So potentially, right, I'm going to fill in, and this will end up looking like, I can have like 12, 15, 31, and I just make a comma, and all the page numbers on which a quote about art fits in, okay, or, where it sits. So then here's my E, F, there, the G, H, okay. Now I'm happy because of some of the stuff I'm reading, I left a few extra lines for happiness so that you can see how, because I might have quite a few page numbers or quotes I'm finding on that. Okay, all right, so you can see how that works, yeah? When I got to these letters, I split it into 3 boxes because I don't anticipate I'll have a lot with, you know, Z and Y. Okay. But what happens now, I have some blank pages here headed toward the beginning of the book, the middle of the book, and that's good because let's say I do run out of room on my ABCD page, right? I can just start anew, I can go ABC, I can start it again, right? E, F, G, okay? And, you know, kind of create a secondary spillover index, yeah? That way. And not worry that I've run out of pages up against the back cover. Okay, so the thing that I want to show you is that that quote that I recorded earlier, I'm realizing that was page 12, yeah? Okay, so I realized, you know, it's about time, so I had written time in here before I started the video, yeah? And now I want to go back and look at that quote for a minute, show you. Okay. So this actually came from a YouTube video that I was, I don't know, just came across, and it came up because it was Rosh Hashanah, which is the new year for the Jewish faith. And when you greet someone, you say Shana Tova. Shana Tova, I think is how you say it. It means Happy New Year. But there was this little short video, what does Shana Tova really mean, by a rabbi, you know, a faith leader in the Jewish community on YouTube. And it just struck me, yeah. So Shana has 2 meanings, he said, and this is him quoted. One meaning is change, the other meaning is repetition, which those 2 themes are seemingly antithetical. You know, they don't seem to go together. How can you repeat something and, you know, it repeats over and over again and yet it's changing? That is the nature of time. Time is like a spiral staircase. It's cyclical on one hand, right? It cycles, but it's ascending on the other. So he did this thing with his hand where he was showing like a spiraling staircase. Time goes in a circle. We go through the 4 seasons and we cycle, and we keep coming back to the same holidays and anniversaries. But every time we keep coming back, we're not on the same level. We're on a higher plane. So I took a moment to doodle that out. And then, always write down the source. That's super important. Write down the source. I have my page number, yeah. But now, you know, over here, I think I'm going to put my indexing. So I'm going to say it's about time, yeah. But I'm also like this idea of cycles or cyclical or... and that we're on a higher plane. I think, like it's about kind of spiritual evolution. I had to think about that for a minute. So you can put, you know, more than one category there, yeah? And when I go back to my little book, you know, my index, flip it, I can, even if I don't realize it now, and it's really better, you know, to give it some rest and then come back to your quotes and index them. I I'm interested in adding this. So I have it on time, but I'm going to add it also to spiritual evolution 12. Okay. So the other thing you can do is, as you get going with this, I have some topics that are related for me as a writing teacher, some that are related sort of to my thinking about reading, you know. Some are part of teaching, some have nothing to do with teaching, yeah. So like I might come in and I might even use like a little color marker, and I might say like yellow, I might highlight the number 3 yellow and be like, oh, that has to do with teaching writing, yeah. For example, I have a quote on free writing, so I might also put that in yellow, okay? But you can see that maybe if I add other numbers on other page numbers on free writing, like some may or may not be about helpful for teaching, right? So you could do it like that, yeah. So maybe I'm thinking a lot about memoir, you know, and memories, and I want to kind of highlight which pages have things also associated with that. I could do that, yeah. So there, you know, layers of categorization that you can put into your journal, into your Commonplace book, also with colors, if you would like. You know, this might be equity, might be part of my teaching, but there might also be a quote on equity that has more to do with like my community work, yeah, and I might color that something different. Okay. I hope that helps to see that. Flip it. Have fun.